Hi, it's me, Sian. I'm back again. This time I'm going to be reading to you chapter 4, the fourth song from Gabriel's album. Before we start, please like this video, please subscribe, and please ring that bell icon so that you don't miss any of the chapter readings or discussions of this book. But let's get into it. Here we go. There's more sex in this one. There's probably sex in pretty much every chapter after this for quite some time going forward, so let's just assume I'm going to get uncomfortable. Here we go. Chapter 4, the fourth song. I'm sitting at the front of Ariana's apartment in a limousine, and I've just sent her a text to let her know that I'm here. I'm really nervous about our date tonight. She doesn't know we're going to April's birthday party. We saw each other twice this week, and the sex was amazing both times. More importantly, there's an amazing connection between us that only seems to be getting stronger the more we see each other. We've had in-depth discussions about everything from politics through to which pizza place serves the best deep dish pizza in Chicago. We agree on some things, disagree on others, but laugh a whole hell of a lot. Ariana appears at the entrance to her apartment building wearing the gold designer dress and black heels that Heather helped me pick out for her. I had them couriered to her, along with a gold necklace that I'm hoping she's wearing as well. How ostentatious, she tells me by way of a greeting as she slides into the limousine and sits next to me. I'm happy to see you too, I reply with a grin. Are you going to tell me where we're going now, Gabe? Damn, I should have known that would be her first question. I'm not sure you'll be pleased when you find out, I warn her. Why is that? She asks. We're going to a birthday party for April Conway. Ariana fails to withhold a grimace, and I'm terrified that she's going to bail on our date. I really like April. She's younger than us, but really talented, and she got signed to our record label right around the time we did. We've become good friends, and I don't want to bail on her birthday party, but I will if I have to. It's going to be obnoxiously fancy, and there'll be lots of celebrities and rich people showing off how wealthy and amazing they are, and you're going to hate it, and I'm already sorry for bringing you. I say all of this in a rush, desperately hoping that she won't cancel, and Ariana laughs at me. Why did you invite me then? Especially since you already know I'm going to hate it. Because, I say, and intertwine my fingers with hers, not sure whether I want to answer this honestly or not. Because why? She presses me. Because I was already committed to coming to this party and couldn't get out of it, but I didn't want to not see you tonight, I answer honestly. It's crazy, but I miss you so much when I'm not around you. There it is. Now she knows. She's been on my mind since the night we met, and I want to spend every second with her while I can. Well, what is it they say? It's the thought that counts, right? She asks me. Anyway, I'd brave the most obnoxious of celebrity parties to spend the night with you if that makes you feel any better. You might be about to do just that, so I'm glad to hear it. I wait until she's looking directly at me before continuing. Because if I'm going to be honest with her, I might as well be really honest with her. I'm really enjoying getting to know you, Ari. I hope you know that. I do now, she tells me with a smile. I'm enjoying getting to know you too. I'm incredibly pleased when she confirms this for me, but I need to make it clear that she can't just have part of me. I'm a package deal. Good, because this, a gesture around the limousine, tonight, it's a part of me. Well, a part of my world at least, and if we're going to continue to spend time together, you're going to have to get used to it. Ariana doesn't respond immediately. Instead, she pours both a glass of Dom Perignon from the bottle that's in the cooler and takes a deep breath as she hands it to me. I won't lie. This part of your life is my biggest concern. You know that. Fame is just not something that I've ever wanted. Being followed by paparazzi and having every aspect of your life dissected just isn't fun. I frown as I take a sip from my glass. This isn't a positive sign at all, and I can't help but wonder how we got this far without me realizing it was this much of an issue for her. I knew you weren't thrilled by it, and I guess that I have to ask, is this a deal breaker for you? I find myself hoping and praying to all the gods that it isn't. She sighs, puts down her glass, and moves close to me before reaching up to give me the sweetest, softest kiss on my lips. If it were a deal breaker, I wouldn't be here right now. I would have told you to turn the car around as soon as you told me we were going to a birthday party for the person who literally just won the Grammy for Best New Artist. So it'll be hard, but I guess I'll have to try and get used to life in the fast lane. Ariana winks at me as she picks up her glass again. To stupidly expensive champagne. We clink glasses and take a sip. Okay then, well now it's my turn to make a toast, I tell her. Then, in this new bout of honesty that I'm going with, I toast to her. Let's toast to an amazing woman who surprises me at every turn and dominates most of my thoughts these days. To April Conway, Ariana announces before draining her glass, and I'm amused by her wit. She also seems to think far less of herself than I do, so I finish my own glass of champagne before taking her glass and putting it aside with mine. I put my arms around her waist and easily pull her onto my lap. To who? I whisper in her ear in a voice that is husky and hopefully seductive. To April Conway, Ariana repeats, and I kiss the nape of her neck. To who? I inquire again. To, April? I nip her earlobe gently with my teeth and she gasps in a way that I find erotic. To who? Ariana? I turn her head so I'm looking into her emerald green eyes when I ask this. She finally gives me the correct answer. To me. I kiss her then, long and slow. My arms are around her and I pull her tight to me before I softly stroke her back while we kiss. We're both breathing heavily when the kiss ends. To you indeed, I say as I kiss her again, even more passionately, and our tongues dance together. I'm painfully erect, and I want more than anything to be inside her right now, but I'm also incredibly aware that we are fast approaching the venue for April's party. I break our kiss and move her back to her seat because I probably don't need a picture of me with a massive boner to be printed in the world's magazines tomorrow. We're about 5 minutes away, I tell her. Oh, that's good, isn't it? She says, looking adorably dazed. Is it? I ask, feeling a wicked sense of amusement because I definitely don't see this as a good thing at all. Probably not, she smiles back at me. I, at the very least, need some time to get control of myself, though. I wink at her and she blushes as I indicate to the very obvious bulge in my pants. We arrive at the venue and we're fifth in the line of limousines dropping guests off. There is a billboard at the front of the venue announcing April's 21st birthday party. I can see a crowd of both fans and people with cameras and microphones either side of a roped-off walkway into the building. Are you ready to run the gauntlet? I ask her. The gauntlet? Yeah, it's what we call the red carpet events. People calling your name, wanting your photo or a soundbite. They won't want my photo though, will they? Ariana asks me with a panic-stricken look on her face. If you're with me, they might, or they might ask you to stand aside while they take mine. It depends on the day, but you'll probably end up in a few. Do you not want your photo taken? No, I really don't. I'm beginning to wonder exactly how this woman ended up with such strong feelings about paparazzi and celebrities, because I've never met anyone who dislikes those as much as she seems to. In fact, the vast majority of women that I've come across since becoming famous have been the polar opposite to her. I guess this is probably something that we should talk about later. In the meantime, at least, there is a way to avoid having her photo taken. That's fine, I tell her. Hang back when I get out of the limousine, and once I've moved on a bit, just get out and walk straight to the entrance. They won't recognize you, and if you don't interact with them, they won't bother you. Does that really work? Ariana asks. I thought they'd take photos of everyone just in case. They might snap a photo or two of you, but without any information on you, they don't have much to put under it. Random person out of Gabriel Knight's limousine doesn't really have much of a ring to it. If you watch, someone coming out of one of those limos will probably do it. As a third limousine pulls up to the red carpet and Patrick Taylor gets out, I point it out to her because I know what's going to happen. Patrick is an A-list actor, and he has his photos taken before moving to the side. After that, I see his boyfriend get out, along with his girlfriend. I'm always amazed that the media haven't figured out their relationship status because they go everywhere with him, but there aren't even any rumors about them. More power to them, I say. Denise and Brent make a beeline for the venue entrance, despite people calling out to them. As our limousine pulls up to the red carpet, the driver walks around it to come open the door and let us out. I turn to her, blocking the view of any nosy paparazzi who might be able to peek in through the dark windows and give her a quick kiss on the lips. I'll see you in there, sweetheart, I whisper as the door opens behind me. I turn again and get out of the limousine amongst cries of, Gabriel! Gabriel Knight! And Mr. Cruise Control! I plaster a bright smile on my face and begin answering questions. I'm keeping an eye on the limousine in my peripheral vision as I find out from one of the reporters that my friend's already here. Yes, we're all really excited about the tour, I reply to a reporter as Ariana walks behind me. Our hands brush and I can't stop the small smile that comes across my face because her touch is oddly comforting. I wish I could hug her, but I don't even dare look at her. I make my way slowly up the red carpet, answering the same questions about the tour and the band. April's a great girl. I'm happy to be here to celebrate her birthday. Definitely. We're all excited about the tour. I smile and pose. No, I'm not seeing anyone at the moment. I shake someone's hand and smile. Very excited. Our first tour is something that we're looking forward to a lot. Yeah, we've known April for a while. I was so happy she got the Grammy. I take another few steps, then smile and pose. Oh yeah, we're all pumped about the tour. It'll be great. We've written some songs, but we'll probably start working on the next album when the tour ends. I greet another reporter and pose. Yes, the tour is going to be brilliant. So happy to be here to celebrate April's birthday. I continue in this way as I make my way toward the entrance of the venue. I can now see Ariana standing just inside. She's like a homing beacon calling to me, and I just need to get through these last few reporters before I'll be free to be with her. How long have you and April Conway been friends? One of the last few journalists asks. We've known each other for a while now, I reply. She's pretty awesome and incredibly talented. Are you looking forward to going on tour? Another asks. I can't wait. It's going to be great performing our songs live in front of our fans. Honestly, I might as well have just answered the first reporter's questions and he could have passed his notes along. Have you started working on a new album yet? The other journalist asks. I've written a couple of songs, but nothing is fully formed yet. These things take time, I reply. Are you seeing anyone at the moment? An attractive redhead woman joins in the questioning. My eyes dart involuntarily toward the entrance to Ariana. I'm close enough now that she can probably hear my reply, and I don't really want to give it. Our gazes lock for an instant before I turn back to the reporter. I can't not answer, though. Not at the moment. I lie and force a big smile onto my face. When the right person comes along, you'll be the first to know. Maybe she has already. With that, I wink at the reporter, wave one last time to the crowd, and walk through the entrance toward Ariana. We walk side by side through the doors and into the crowded room. I can see how tense she is, so as soon as we're out of the view of the paparazzi outside, I place my arm around her waist and she relaxes into me. The party is in full swing. People are everywhere, dancing, chatting, or at the bar getting drinks. Nearly everyone here is a household name. I've been to 1,000 parties with these people, but Ariana looks overwhelmed. I lead her over to the bar, thinking that if she has a drink, it might help her to feel more comfortable. I get myself a beer while Ariana orders vodka and orange. Obviously, that's her go-to drink. As we wait for our drinks, I look around the club, then point out Hayden to Ariana. He's dancing with a guy I've never seen before and seems to be having a good time. I also point out Sebastian, who's sitting in a booth in the corner of the room with Harrison. Sitting between them is Heather, of course. Harrison's girlfriend is tall, blonde, one of the most beautiful women I know, and an unofficial member of our band. She used to help us lug our equipment to gigs, designed and sold merch at those gigs, and she basically just stops us from turning into massive douchebags now that we're famous. The bartender gives us our drinks as the song that's playing comes to an end, and we arrive at the booth at the same time as Hayden, who seems to have left his dance partner behind. Hi guys, I call over the sound of the pumping music as it segues into another dance anthem. Hey, how you doing? Hayden asks as we all take our seats. Not too bad, didn't get stuck outside for long. What about you? I ask. We were stuck there for a while, weren't we, Sebastian? Hayden replies, and Sebastian nods his agreement. I see you already found yourself a friend. I grin at Hayden. You know me, I'm a friendly guy. He laughs. How are you, Ariana? Sebastian asks her. Heather had already talked to him about Ariana by the time I spoke to him, but when I did, I told him in no uncertain terms that he wasn't to be a dick to her tonight. He told me that Heather had already said that to him, so I'm certain that he'll be on his best behavior. I'm fine, she replies in a stiff tone that I haven't heard her use before. It's good to see you again, he says. Gabriel's been telling us a lot about you. Ariana raises an eyebrow at me. All good things, of course, Sebastian clarifies. I actually told Harrison and Heather a lot more than I told him, but we all know that telling Heather anything means telling us all everything. Somehow along the way, she just became the person we run all of our shit past. I'm glad to hear it, Ariana replies a little more warmly. I'd hate to have to rough him up if I'd heard he'd been slandering me. Everyone laughs and Ariana seems to relax. Sebastian is actually making an effort, which is rare, so I'm guessing that Heather might have been more forceful with him than I was. Hi, Ariana, I'm Hayden, since Gabriel is obviously not going to introduce us. Hayden shakes her hand with a laugh. I'm Heather. Heather smiles as she shakes Ariana's hand as well. And I'm Harrison. Harrison tells her and shakes her hand. Gabriel told us that you're a recent college grad. What are you up to now? Hayden asks her. I'm kind of floating for now, applying for jobs, the usual. Probably going to try and get an internship somewhere. I hope you find something soon, Harrison says. While they're talking, I turn to Sebastian and say quietly, Thanks, dude. What for? He asks me with a cheeky grin. Being nice to Ariana. I roll my eyes at him. Yeah, well, do you think I want Heather to bust my balls for being mean to your new girlfriend? He asks me, looking amused. She threatened you with physical violence, huh? I smirk at him. I told her what I remembered about the charity event, and yeah, physical violence was heavily implied if I don't behave tonight. Sebastian laughs. I laugh as well because Heather can be scary when she wants to be. Sebastian might be tough, but I know he wouldn't want to cross her. Hayden's looking at me, and he gets my attention when I hear him say, Wait, you Gabriel. I'll be able to do what? I ask him. Get Ariana into our Chicago gig. Oh, of course. I smile at her. I was planning on making it a surprise for you, but trust Hayden to let the cat out of the bag inadvertently. I say as I punch Hayden on the shoulder in jest. Thank you, Ariana says and kisses me on the cheek. I smile, even though Hayden ruined my surprise, because it doesn't matter. It'll be good to have her there for our first concert of the tour. No, thank you, because in payment for the ticket, you have to come and dance with me. I grin at her. Hey, you didn't have to bribe me, she tells me as I stand and we start to leave the booth. I love dancing. Shall we dance too, honey? Heather asks Harrison, and when he nods, they follow us as we make our way toward the undulating masses. Ariana begins moving with me in time to the beat of the song that's playing. I move my body sinuously against hers. She turns around so that she's facing away from me, and I put my arms around her and pull her close to me. I have to hold back a groan as she grinds her butt against my crotch. We sway side to side in time with the music, and I slowly lower my hands down her body, brushing the sides of her breasts until I cross them across her stomach, holding her close. We dance this way for a long time, and I see people on the dance floor that I know, nodding at a few of them when they catch my eye. Heather and Harrison are dancing across the room from us on the other side of the DJ booth, and I focus on how good Ariana feels dancing in my arms. She turns to face me and places her arms around my neck. I put my arms around her waist and pull her roughly against me. My erection is pressing against her, and I want nothing more than to take her somewhere we can be alone. We stop dancing and begin to kiss. My hands move down to her ass, and I pull her even closer to me. My mouth is moving against hers, and when she reaches her hands up and curls her fingers into my hair, it drives me wild. We both come crashing down to earth as a bright light flashes behind Ariana. Of course there's a camera. I should have known better. Because, of course, no celebrity party would be complete without the paparazzi sneaking in to try and get pictures of the festivities. Nothing is sacred. I think quickly and hold Ariana's head against my chest as I warn her, Don't look up, sweetheart. Keep your face hidden and they won't get your picture. They can't find out your name. Okay, she mumbles into my shirt. I look around to try and find any of my friends while ignoring the photographer standing directly in front of us. Harrison and Heather have disappeared, but the other two are still sitting in the booth where we left them. Sebastian! Hayden! I call as loudly as I can over the sound of the pounding music. They must have heard the panic in my voice because they both look over at us, clock the situation immediately, and are at my side in an instant. They move in front of me to stand side by side with their arms crossed in front of the man with the camera, a human barrier shielding us from his view. Hey, buddy, you've got your picture. It's probably time to leave now, Sebastian growls at the photographer. Who's the chick? The man asks in reply. She's none of your business, I snap at him. Come on, Gabriel, the man sneers at me. Surely you know that your business is my business. Be that as it may, I tell him, channeling every ounce of strength to keep myself calm, we won't be telling you her name. Hey, girlie, the man addresses Ariana. Show us your face, babe. I feel her press her face harder against my chest, and I wrap my arms tighter around her, wanting more than anything to keep her safe. It is crystal clear to me that if she didn't want her photo taken on the red carpet, she absolutely won't want him to get a picture of her face to go with one of us practically screwing on the dance floor tonight. I feel more than hear her tell me, I want to leave. I know, sweetheart, I mutter to her. I want to leave too. What's that you're saying? The asshole pesters me with a sleazy smile on his face. Just give me a name and I'll leave you alone. It's April Conway, Hayden tells him. She doesn't want to ruin her image. God love Hayden, but I doubt this tactic is going to work. Sure enough, the photographer isn't buying it. April Conway is blonde, the man counters. She's wearing a wig so she can be less conspicuous. Hayden shrugs his shoulders as he replies. I don't believe you. Why would she do that when it's her party? He spits at us. Well, it's the best you're going to get, Hayden informs him in a cool tone. The photographer seems to weigh his options. He can stand here wasting his time arguing with us, or he can go try to find someone else to harass. Hayden gave him something to work with, and the more time he spends here with us, when we're clearly not budging on our position, the more chance he'll miss out on some other picture. I feel a massive wave of relief wash over me when he finally shrugs and walks away from us. I think you're safe now, Sebastian tells us. Okay, we're leaving, I say. Keep your head down, Ari. I move so that I'm next to her, but I keep my arm around her. Sebastian flanks her on the other side, and Hayden's bringing up the rear. She's looking at the floor as we move deeper into the club. I thought you said we were leaving, she squeaks, sounding alarmed. Poor Ariana. She's clearly freaked out. I just want to get her out of here and hold her and fuck her and make her forget all of this happened. But I'm not sure this won't be our last date because it doesn't seem as though she wants to be a part of my life. I push away the thought and answer her question. We are leaving, sweetheart. What we don't want to do is leave through the main entrance and have our pictures taken on the way out. Sebastian's on the phone to the car company, organising to have a limousine brought around. Finally, we reach a door with a green exit sign hanging above it. Okay, you can go. Sebastian nods at us as he hangs up the phone. I will send him the most expensive fucking bottle of Glenfiddich tomorrow to thank him for this. All right, thanks for all your help, guys. Have a great night. Will do. Take care. Hayden smiles at me. Now, Ariana, there is still likely to be some paparazzi outside this door, so keep your head down and let your hair hang down around your face. It should keep you fairly protected. I'll go out ahead of you, so if you stay close to me, they shouldn't be able to get a picture of your face. Ariana follows my instructions and looks at the floor once again. I open the door and the limo is about 15 feet away, but nothing has ever felt further away. As soon as the doors open, the flashes start. There's nowhere near as many people here as there would be out the front, but there's enough to make headlines tomorrow, even if they don't get a picture of her face. I move forward slowly and I can feel Ariana following closely behind me. When we're nearly there, the driver opens the door to the limousine. I slip inside quickly and Ariana follows so closely that she practically lands on my lap. The driver shuts the door behind her and I relax now that we're in the safety of the limousine. I hold her head against my chest again as we drive away. Once we're moving, she sits up. Can you make sure no one is following us? I ask the driver after sliding the partition down between us. Yes, sir. I'm going to drop Ariana off first, I say. Maybe you could take the scenic route, though? Not a problem, sir. Thank you, I reply, making a mental note to give him a big tip as I slide the partition back up. It's the first time since we've officially started seeing each other that there's been this kind of awkward silence between us. I wish that I could climb inside her head and find out what she's thinking. I'm terrified that whenever this conversation between us happens, she's going to tell me that she never wants to see me again. I'm surprised by just how much this concept hurts me. I'm not ready to stop seeing her, but I also know that she really has some kind of problem with the whole celebrity lifestyle. I put my big boy pants on and start the conversation before I chicken out. Ari? Yes? Well, that's a start, I guess. Are you okay, sweetheart? I ask. She's so quiet and I'm really concerned by what she's thinking. It's always going to be like that, isn't it? I take my time replying because I don't want to give her the answer that we both know is the truth. You mean it'll always be like that if you're seen with me in public places? I ask, knowing where she's going with this. That's exactly what I mean. Yes, it's probably going to be like that. It would have been slightly easier if you hadn't minded having your photograph taken, though. I'm struck by the thought of how different our night would have been if she hadn't had a problem with having her picture taken. Does that upset you? She asks. That you don't want to be seen with me? I can't stop myself from frowning. A little bit, but I can understand why you don't want to. I don't think you really understand, though. She sighs, and I'm confused because I don't know what reason she could have for acting the way she has tonight. Do you remember my Aunt Susan from the night we met? Vaguely, she was worried about her Porsche seats. I grin at her, but it slips off my face quickly when I see her expression, because I can tell this isn't the time for witty quips. My dad is an only child, and my mum just has the one sibling, so Aunt Susan is one of my favourite people in the world, and I'm certain you'll know of her husband, Darius Thompson. The Darius Thompson? I can't help asking. I mean, I know a lot of famous people, but even I'm impressed. Darius Thompson is the most famous movie star on the planet. I've seen him at a few events and even knew he was from Chicago, but he doesn't come out much these days. I'm surprised I didn't recognize his wife at once. Then again, I was pretty wasted that night. The very same. I'm also sure that you've heard the rumors about him. Well, yeah, I've heard some. Oh, shit. Awkward. It's starting to make sense to me now. All of the puzzle pieces begin slotting into place as Ariana continues her explanation. The first time I knew about those rumors, I was 9. I came home and my aunt was at our kitchen table with my mum and crying into a bucket of ice cream. I didn't know at the time, of course, but the media had just found out and published that he was having an affair with his co-star on the movie he was filming at the time. She lowers her gaze and looks down at the seat, running her fingers along the stitching and leather as she continues with her story. He's cheated on her with 3 different women, to my knowledge, though from what I know, he hasn't done it at all in the last 7 years. They've had therapy together and she's forgiven him. They're in a pretty good place now. When she looks back up at me, there's a tiny smile on her face. It's only there for a second before it vanishes completely. She shakes her head and then sighs. That doesn't stop the stories, though. Every time he's even just a little bit too close to a woman, they publish another story. It doesn't matter that it's not true. They just make shit up to sell magazines or get clicks. My cousins, who I absolutely love to death, have grown up seeing this bullshit about their family time and time again. They caught hell at school, and I know it's embarrassing and it gets them down. It's just a life that I swore I would never have for myself. There's silence as she finishes her explanation. I take a moment to process what she's just told me. I can see how that would help someone to form some pretty strong opinions on celebrities and their relationship with the paparazzi. I'm left with one empty piece to this puzzle, and I search for it by asking her the question that's burning in my brain. That explains so much. There's one thing that I don't understand, though, Ari. What? I don't get why you ever agreed to go on a date with me in the first place. I shrug in confusion. As if I even had a choice, she replies surprisingly quickly. What do you mean by that? Ariana gets a panic-stricken look on her face, and I don't know what about my question has her looking like that. I turn her words over in my brain, as if I even had a choice. I watch her and wait for her answer to my question. I'm disappointed when, instead of explaining, she tells me the worst thing she could tell me. It doesn't matter really, she says, sounding sad. I'm enjoying spending time with you, but I'm hyper aware that in 2 weeks you're gonna be leaving to go on tour for months on end. I mean, I hate to say it, but in the face of that fact, what we have can't really go anywhere until you come back anyway. So why would I be expected to give up my privacy and lifestyle for the sake of a night or 2 out a week before you leave me? I'm stunned and I don't know exactly what she's saying. Parts of it are rattling around in my brain, but one phrase is lit up in my head like a neon sign. You don't think what we have can go anywhere? I blink at her. I hadn't really considered what would happen when the tour started, beyond her being there for the first concert. Well, not until you come back. I can't commit to anything and I wouldn't want you to either. You're a famous rock star and you're about to go on your first tour. How could I expect you to stay faithful to a person you've barely started dating? It's not your fault and it's not my fault. We just have super shitty timing. I don't know what to say. I can't keep the hurt and disappointment out of my voice. It sounds like you've really given this some thought. This is the part that hurts the most, I think. All I've been thinking about is how much time I can spend with her, but she's been thinking about basically ending it with me. It's been on my mind for a while, yes, she replies. I don't want to end all contact with you while you're on tour. I still want to talk to you. We can email and text and call each other, but we'll just be friends. We won't be tied to each other. And you want this arrangement not so that you can sleep with other men, but so that I can sleep with other women? It's so far beyond my comprehension that this amazing woman basically wants to call it quits so I can live a lifestyle like Sebastian's while we're on tour. That's correct. Pass. Thanks. She has no idea that I don't want that lifestyle. I absolutely enjoy the company of a beautiful woman, but I don't stand on stage staring through the crowd looking for someone that I can hook up with after our gig. Except, the night I met her. There is another option that you haven't considered, I tell her with my heart racing 1,000 miles a minute as I think about suggesting this. What would that be? I won't tie you down, Gabe. I just won't. I shrug as casually as I can manage before I say, you could always come with me. Come with you? Ariana looks completely stunned. Yeah, Harrison's bringing Heather with him. I don't see why I couldn't bring you. It's out there now. I all but called her my girlfriend, and I'm on the edge of my seat as I wait for her response. We've only known each other for a month, though. I have to stay here and get a job, and she trails off. We could get to know each other better on the road than we could by being long-distance friends. I use air quotations around the phrase. And you can get a job when you get back. Heck, you could even use your time on the road to do some writing. Maybe you could write a novel. Who knows? The world is your oyster, sweetheart. You just have to pick the pearl you want. How did we go from paparazzi attacking us to the idea of me coming on tour with you? She asks me. Easily, they're intertwined. You don't need to worry about the paparazzi on tour, and everyone's told us it's far more low-key. We're traveling on buses, and there are so many people who are coming with us on the tour that they're not going to pick you out as being with me, as long as we don't have too much contact in public. I'm not sure about this. She has a worried look on her face, and I'm concerned that she's going to shoot me down here and now without really considering it as a possibility. You don't have to answer right now. Just think about it. You spent time thinking about splitting up with me. Now spend some time thinking about staying together. I give her my best puppy dog smile. Okay. I put my arm around her, relieved that she didn't just say no. She relaxes into me, her eyes closed, and she looks tired. I'm amazed at how good it feels to hold her in my arms. How right. Now that I've offered up the idea of her coming on tour, I realize how badly I want her to do it. Sure, it'll probably be a weird lifestyle and an odd way to get to know each other, but Ariana overthinks so much that maybe taking her away from an ordinary life and cocooning her on a tour bus with me will help her to really get to know me. Or she'll think of me as more of a rock star than ever, I suppose. We arrive at her apartment and share a passionate kiss. I explore her mouth with my tongue and try to put all of my desire and longing into this kiss to hopefully show her what we could have if she comes on tour with me. Please, Ari, I plead. Just think about it. Come upstairs with me? She asks me. We can talk about it some more. Holy fuck yes. I was definitely not ready for our date to end, but I didn't think she would offer this. This night has been a fucking roller coaster, that's for certain. Sure. I lower the partition, thanking the driver and handing him a tip before telling him that I'll call for another car if I need one. I follow Ariana out of the limousine and up the stairs to her apartment. She unlocks the door and lets us inside. Do you want something to drink? She asks me. Not really. Ariana looks enchanting, standing in front of me in the gold dress. So beautiful and fragile and wonderful. I ache to have her in a bed now that we're here. We should talk, she murmurs. Yes, we should, I reply as I walk over to her. I rest my hand on the side of her face and rub her bottom lip softly with my thumb. Her lips are full and red. She's so beautiful, and she's staring at me, wide-eyed, seemingly unable to say anything. What did you want to talk about, Ari? I lean down and kiss her neck softly before pulling back to look her in the eyes again as I put my hands on her shoulders and begin to stroke softly up and down her arms. Come with me. That's all she says as she takes my hand and leads me to her bedroom. I'm already hard by the time we're standing next to her bed, and I slowly unzip her dress, push the straps off her shoulders, and let it pull at her feet. I can see her nipples puckering against her bra, and my erection stiffens as my gaze roams over her. I kiss her and revel in her soft moans as I softly stroke her nipples while I do. When our kiss ends, she watches me strip naked before I lie down on her bed and slip the condom I grabbed out of my jeans pocket onto my cock. Ariana climbs onto me and she feels so tight and wet and glorious around my cock. I love being inside her, and we move in rhythm until she moans my name as she comes. It's less than a minute before I come as well. We're lying in bed together later that night when I say to her, "Tell me that you'll come on tour with us. I am not ready to give you up, sweetheart." I feel like I might pass out from lack of oxygen as I hold my breath, waiting for her response. I don't want to fuck groupies on the tour. I want to fuck Ariana. Phone sex would be a pretty shitty substitute for what we just did together. I'll think about it. I can't stop the massive grin that comes over my face. It's not a no. She doesn't get a chance to say anything more than that before I lower my mouth back to hers and start round two. For the next 2 weeks, we message back and forth almost constantly and talk on the phone about the idea of her coming on tour. We see each other whenever we can fit it in around my tour prep and her work. We fuck a lot. Finally, 2 days before the tour is meant to leave, and right when I start to think I'm going to have to make do with my hand for company for months on end, she finds a sublease for her apartment and agrees to come with us. When she does, I tell her, I'm so glad my girlfriend is going to be coming on tour with me. Ariana turns bright red, and I don't give her a chance to respond. I just kiss her. And that is the end of chapter 4, the 4th song. I'll be back with chapter 5, the 5th song, and that is the first chapter where they're on tour, and we get to see Heather and Ariana spend a little bit of time together. No, we don't, because this is Gabriel's album, not the album. Anyway, there's a concert involved. We'll see how that goes. I will be back on Tuesday with the discussion video for this chapter, and I have thoughts, I have things to say. Anyway, please like this video, please subscribe, please tell your friends, please ring the bell icon, and join me as we continue on with reading Gabriel's album. Okay, bye!